Good morning, Sofia. Good morning to all who have arrived here as guests as well. It is a pleasure for me to visit as commissioner for the first time officially Bulgaria. As a Romanian, I want to tell you that for me Europe meant Bulgaria for a long time, because it was the first country that I visited when getting outside of my own country long time ago. So visiting Primorsko and seeing the culinary and cultural differences in Bulgaria, for me, defined the idea of traveling outside of my own country. However, many decades later, or enough decades later, the connection between our countries in this region still do not do this justice to our neighborhood. I was reflecting on that as I was traveling yesterday from Romania to Bulgaria by car, and it took many hours. It seems sometimes that it's easier to go to Brussels than to Sofia. Flight connections not much better. So last evening we had an opportunity with Prime Minister Stanishev, with the ministers of the government, the speaker, with Enrico Letta, with the guest ministers from Greece, to talk about the need to have a stronger Europe and a stronger European Union through stronger connections in this part of Europe, in this region of Europe, connections on transport, energy, so on and so forth. So I am very optimistic seeing this kind of setup, this kind of debate, the public and private stakeholders from this part of European Union talking, debating, sending clear messages about the future of our union, a future of our union which must speak as well to the Brussels bubble, to the big European industry, to the French, to the Finnish, to the Italian, but as well to the Bulgarian, to the Polish, to the Romanian, to the Greeks. It is important that as we debate our future, this future does not seem as one that is imposed or manufactured in some laboratories in Brussels or Strasbourg or some think tanks, but that we are all part of this conversation, part of this decision, part of the success or part of the failure for that matter. And I would congratulate the forum, of course, for getting stronger and stronger on the topic of the green transition. But you will be probably in your mind silently agreeing with me a bit that by now, a bit for our citizens and for some of our companies, a bit the word green, a bit the word transition, starts to have not very positive connotations, and it is such a pity. But that is the thing with politics, and that is the thing with democracy. We work with perceptions and we work with decisions. Going green, the green jump, the green transformation, as was mentioned here, transition as it is no longer a question of option, a question of naivete, or a question of being attached to a cause. It's a question of doing business, of being profitable, of being competitive. China sees it, US sees it, many competitors see it. While Europe has had leadership in this domain, I think it is important for us to retranslate this championing, this leadership to our citizens, to our companies, to our mayors, in terms of we go green because that's more profitable for every individual, for Europe to become autonomous, independent, but more prosperous, and of course to protect the future of our generations. But how do we make it so? So the message of my speech, which of course, as usual, I will not read, but the colleagues did prepare me a very good speech, and the core of my message as Executive Vice President in charge with people, with social rights, with skills, with education, with employment, how do we make it so that every European from every corner of our union has a stake, feels that they have a personal stake in this transformation, in our drive for competitiveness, in this transition? And let's be aware that many times people consider transitions as a certain moment where they have something to lose. And we do have sometimes to lose some kind of habits, but we need to focus on what they might have to gain and how we help them from Brussels, from Sofia, from Bucharest, from Athens to win. How do we make it so that the retired person, the farmer, the child, the teenager, the entrepreneur, the startup, the worker in automotive or the worker in chemistry, how do we make it so that they feel that they really have a stake and something to gain from this green transformation, which is about the type of competitiveness where Europe really can lead? And of course, in the new Commission, we propose, I think, more than business as usual. We propose a new mindset. Challenge will be that the mindset we propose, we need also to deliver together with member states, with European Parliament, with you, the business sector, with the civil society. The mindset a bit, I would call it agility or agileness. I don't know how it is in English. A bit it's borrowed from IT or from other industries. Is it possible that we as a European project be agile? I think we really have to. Because if we want to become competitive, to transform our industries in 20 years' time, in 25 years' time, then we have missed our purpose. We need to have leaps, agile leaps. We are working on simplification. We are working on policies that really reshape our industries, but we need to do it in a different rhythm. And how do we make it so that this rhythm touches the lives of people, that people are at the center of this transition? We focus on 3 topics. First, I will talk a bit about skills and education, which is not necessarily EU competence, but the idea is that that's how we equip our citizens to be able to navigate, to anticipate and navigate all these transitions and transformations they see in the industry, in society. And when we look at skills, of course, we see the numbers which are a bit the same in all member states. We see the fact that we do not have enough talented people for the industries, but also for the care or healthcare sector. Simply not enough talented, skilled labor for what the market requires. At the same time, we think that these people will need to adapt to AI-assisted jobs, or to transition from automotive to defense, or from one industry to chemistry, or to chemical industry, or to other types of manufacturing jobs, which are in a new mindset, in a green mindset. How do we do that? Well, we look at the skills, and what we see is that from young age, the basic skills of our youngsters, 15-year-olds, have decreased in the past 15 years constantly. A digital generation that has very little digital basic skills. That's a digital generation, and I was looking 1/3 in Europe, about a half in Bulgaria, but that has challenges in achieving the basic skills in mathematics, in science, in literacy, in reading, those that are absolutely necessary for them. Then when they become adults, they are able to reskill and upskill for better jobs, to be able to transition from an industry to another. So we launched the Union of Skills exactly to start with this foundation. And this is the first step of the Union of Skills, to work on the improvement of basic skills of the young generation and of adults alike. And for example, we want to pilot, there are many measures in the Union of Skills, but we want to pilot a support scheme for basic skills so that we are able to help our young generation and adults to catch up on these elements. And this is the first time the EU says, I will intervene in order to help you member states to improve the foundations of the skills. Without those, you cannot reskill or upskill adults. The second part of the Union of Skills is what happens with the adults in the labor market. We want to have a skills guarantee for workers. I've mentioned the example a bit earlier. There are industries that are transitioning due to tariff wars, due to, of course, competitiveness elements. Automotive, we had a strategic dialogue with them. We have now discussions with investors in Europe in automotive where state-of-the-art factories are repositioned inside or outside of European Union, leaving some of the most skilled and full of expertise labor force without a perspective in the labor market. What do we do with these people? We need to help them reskill, upskill, reposition in the industries where we have demand. And for this, We propose a skills guarantee for workers, just for like an example, where we will invest EU money, but we also need to invest national money, private money, to be able to have this kind of guarantee, this kind of safety net for every worker to be able to remain relevant or even to grow in an ever-changing landscape. Whether now for the young generation of architects, we were talking last night, working in the drone production industry is an opportunity. This is for us to help, investing in the right skills so that we offer the opportunities in the right industries where the demand is increasing and where the shortages are important. The circulation of skills, and Enrico Letta's report is much more than a single market. The circulation of skills. We travel freely in the European Union, but many times our degrees, our diplomas, our skills, as LinkedIn calls them, they do not travel with us, or they come much later, because we have such a fragmented 27 member states with 27 systems that protect their own recognition systems, and many times you are able to obtain a very good job in another member state to contribute to the European economy, but you are not able to have your skills recognized immediately. So we want to propose next year the Portability of Skills Initiative, which will be a legal initiative making it so that skills are automatically recognized as we travel inside the single market. And this is a bit part of that fifth freedom that Enrico Letta mentioned, the circulation of knowledge, the circulation of education that should be as free as the circulation of workers. We need to work at a European degree, and this is also part of the Union of Skills. We need to support our ecosystem so that our youngsters are able to get a European degree, not just in university, but also in vocational and educational training. And we will start also with piloting one on engineering, where we have the highest shortages for many industries, which are very important for our preparedness, for our security, for many sectors. It is absolutely important that we understand that without investing in skills and education, we are unable to be innovative, unable to have the green transformation. Yes, we need a saving and investments union, we need a capital market, yes, we need physical infrastructure, yes, we need to invest in our defense, but most importantly, we need to invest in our people, and people need to feel protected. And by equipping them with the right skills, no matter what the age or where their position is in the labor market, we are making them feeling safe and certain in the labor market. I would also mention two other tools that we have and use. One is the working conditions. We will launch the Quality Jobs Roadmap by the end of this year. There are sectors where no matter what the skills available are, the working conditions need to be improved. We're looking at the transport sector and the investments we need to do in parking spaces where there are shortages for drivers, and many, many other sectors. So the Quality Jobs Roadmap is about that. But it will be also, and I invite you to debate this year, next year, on what a quality job means in a world where AI is no longer an assistant, but it is also a boss. The algorithm decides and coordinates the activity of the workers. Do we regulate on that, or do we just do guidelines? It is important that this is part of our quality jobs discussion. And the third element I would mention is the budget. The EU budget that we will present in July will be a strong political message that we continue to invest in the new priorities, competitiveness, safety, but we also invest in the education, in the social safety nets of our Europeans. It is extremely important that we continue to fight poverty, then we continue to fight child poverty and have a strong child guarantee support. This is the generation that will continue to build Europe, and to have a very strong Erasmus. And with this a bit I close. The Erasmus is not a privilege and an opportunity for some chosen ones to travel and study in Europe. It should be a right for every European child and teenager. It's the kind of Europe that they will build if they know it directly. Our ancestors built European projects out of fear, out of a different sense of bringing peace to the continent. Next generations need to reconnect with Europe in new ways, and the strong Erasmus present in each and every teenager's life will make sure that really happens. Looking forward to hearing a bit of the debates, and I'm very, very open to working with Bulgaria, which I think is the heart of Europe in as much as Brussels is through such wonderful events as today.